everyone. You are welcome to yet another episode of Footprint, where we bring you the truth, nothing but the truth, where we try as much as possible to bring African youth up and erase their mind from crime. As we can all know that a whole lot of speculation about Africa at large, that our youth are so lazy that we don't want to work, but that is not true. A whole lot of us has actually make it through to the sky, and we actually suck the same breast, which is the African mothers. I want to tell you today that a whole lot of youth in Africa is making it from Nigeria to Ghana to Cameroon to Sierra Leone. In fact, Burkina Faso, Kenya, any country at all you will name in Africa, a whole lot of people are making it. Now, that makes us come to the episode for today. Who tells you that you cannot make money from your own bedroom? What makes you think the data you purchase to chat with your friend and actually waste it, you cannot make money? A whole lot of people are making money right from their compound, from their room. Example is the young boys that just make a science freak movie. The movie producer was Godwin Joshua, a very little boy. They use their smartphones to actually make their way to the world. Everybody is talking about them right here in the United States, in Africa. Everybody is supporting them. And right now, they are making it big. Who tell you you cannot make it big? Today, we are going to be taking you through the world of IT, how to use your smartphone to make money, how to be a self-made IT. And our guest today is a very young man that has actually made it far. He actually taught himself how to make money through IT, how to use information technology to benefit himself and actually make himself a great man that he is today. So I tell you, join me today as I welcome our guest of honor, an IT specialist. He works with the United States government. He has done a whole lot of projects and currently is trying to make a project that will benefit Ghana at large. We are going to hear all this from the Aussie man very soon. Please join me and welcome Mr. Patrick Ekuban. Thank you to our program. This is Footprint. We really appreciate your time. And I tell you, I know you are a very busy man. It took us a while to actually get an interview with Mr. Patrick Ekuban. Please welcome once again to Footprint. And our audience are always delighted to actually hear from our guests and hear their background and their journey to success. Please, Mr. Patrick, can you please introduce yourself?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for having me on the platform. I really appreciate any platform that allows me to voice out, at least on the subject of talking about IT. It's something that I'm very, very passionate about, and any time I get any chance I can get to actually express how much or how easy it is to do IT, I'm more than happy to do it. Now, for the crowd who don't know me, my name is Patrick Ekuban. A little bit of my background. I grew up, I was born in Ghana, but I've been here at the tender age of, I believe, 3 years old. So I've grown up through the system. I've gone through elementary, through part of college here. And my main focus is IT, and that's something I'm very passionate about. And I will promise you this, I have not, most of the IT knowledge I have right now, they're all pretty much, they're self-taught. I went on YouTube, I went online, it's all about how to utilize the internet to your advantage, because we have it, it's open now. Maybe about 10, 15 years ago, the internet wasn't as powerful as a tool as it is today. So I highly encourage anybody who's listening right now to just at least listen through the program and then at least learn how to teach yourself IT. I mean, it's not something that anybody can just pick it up and then start doing it. It's not something that you have to go to school for specifically. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for that. from your introduction, you actually said you grew up in Ghana, and you at the age of 3, you made it here. When you say here, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about the United States. Well, both my parents were from Ghana, but we migrated from Ghana to the United States ever since I was 3. So I've been here a while, and I do occasionally go back home, but it's more I was essentially raised here, so I've gone through the system and I know everything through and through.
Good. Thank you for that. I just want to clarify the audience. Mr. Patrick was born in Ghana, and he grew up in the United States. But I want you to know something about Mr. Patrick, because we try to make research for every of our guests of honor here, so that we could actually bring something exciting to you. Mr. Patrick is actually a self-made IT specialist. He made himself to the top.
Yes.
Yeah, he made himself to the top through self-teaching. So today we are bringing him so that he can actually enlighten you how to actually use your megabyte to actually make money instead of wasting it. So, Mr. Patrick, in order not to waste your time, we'll go straight to the question. The first question is, can you please identify the various sections of information technology and the starting point for a beginner? Because a whole lot of beginner, they will like, IT is very wide. I don't know what to do. I don't know. So we want you to walk us through the various stages or the various sections or sectors of IT, and what should a beginner do to actually find or acclimatize themselves to this big world of IT?
Yes. So yes, like you said, like you mentioned earlier, IT is or computer science or IT, whatever you want to call it. It's a very broad field, and there's so many branches anybody can fall into. So it's all about. So let's just say as a beginner, you want to get into IT, and like sometimes it could be overwhelming because there's too many sectors to get into. There's cybersecurity, there's database management, there's programming, there's all sorts of things related to IT. And I guess for a beginner, it is difficult to really land where you belong. But here's the thing. It depends. Like some people ask me questions about, what is the easiest thing to do in IT? And it's not about what is easiest. It's more so as like, because IT is so broad, it's more so what do you enjoy? What are you good at? There's some people out there who are naturally good with math. You can tell them, if you're good with math, try these two. Or you can try cybersecurity, you can try programming, or you can try web design, or coding. Those kind of people who naturally love to do those kind of things. Now, there are other people who aren't good at math but are good with English, and they're good with reading in between lines. They can fall under IT support. They can fall. There's different ways, as long as you know the way around a computer. Now, to begin, if you want to get into if you're a complete beginner, you don't know what to do with IT, I highly recommend first educate yourself on computers. Like if you're the most common computers out there are Windows, and they're Mac, and there's some called Linux. Most common is Windows. You can easily find a Windows computer and then just go through the settings. The way I taught myself is that when I get the operating system, I will go through, just mess with things. And if you don't know anything, Google should be your best friend. Like as an IT specialist, Google and YouTube are one of my biggest tools in my toolbox, because if I can't find something, if I find an error on my computer, I would go on Google, and somebody that's out there has experienced it. And if not, I can figure it out, or I can call the support. Like there's different kind of ways to navigate the IT world. So to begin with, just start off with a computer, a laptop, or something computer related. And you can get on there and then go on YouTube. If you can't figure something out, just Google it or YouTube, and it's more likely what you're looking for will be on Google. That's what I recommend.
Oh, thank you for that. Yes, you've actually said it all, but I actually wanted to hit the nail on the head. A lot of youth in Africa, they have smartphones, but they don't actually know what to use the smartphone for. They don't know they can use their smartphones to make money even without having a computer. So I want you to actually educate us on what we can do with our smartphone. A whole lot of books, a whole lot of YouTube channels will tell you can edit through your phone, you can make videos, you can. So I wanted to like throw a little light on that, what youth in Africa and in the world in general can do with their smartphones?
Yes, nowadays, so, you know, smartphones today aren't what they used to be back in 15, 20 years ago. They've really evolved, and it's one of the rapidly growing industries. And I'll tell you this quote, right? The United States, right? They landed a man on the moon. We all know as Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin. They were the first man on the moon, and the little microboard, the chip, the computer that controlled the module, the spacecraft that launched onto the moon, was literally about this size. But thinking about it today, right? Our smartphones itself are 160 million times more powerful than the computers that they used to launch people into the moon. So you think about it, like the way smartphones have evolved, it's more of a tool, a sharp tool than anything else. Like for instance, I use both iPhone and Android, so I'm adept with both. Like I would highly recommend you familiar yourself with these both, Android and iOS. Now, iPhones or Android, either one, the cameras on there are 100% great. They're basically on par with actual video production cameras. So if you have some spare time, you can just go record a video and then post them online. Another way, if you want to make quick cash, I'll give you a quick tip. Another way to make quick cash is to shoot what we call stock photos, right? People are on YouTube, or especially media, they're looking for footage to just add to their videos. They're called B-rolls. So if you have some time, you have a good smartphone, just Google, just quickly Google how to use your smartphone or how to stabilize it. You can really edit your scene to fit like professional grade video photography. Just go record some videos, and whatever you get, make sure they're pretty good. Either still shots or video shots, and then upload them. There's sites called, there's Unsplash, there is, I think it's VMO or Venmo. They're a video company, so you can just go on there and you can sell those stock footages, like whatever video you record in the background, and people will buy them and then they'll use it in their videos. You see them credited to you. Yes, yeah. And also you can not just shoot the video, you can also edit. There are tons of editing programs on your phone. For me, because I use an iPhone, on iOS, we have iMovie. iMovie is one of the biggest tools on iPhone. I can literally record a video, go straight to my iMovie on my phone, and then just edit from there. Like I said, all the Apple products, they even announced on the stage that their iPhones are capable of full-on editing. So some of the commercials you see for iPhones, it says shot on an iPhone. And it's a very powerful tool to use.
Thank you. That was very great. Please, as he's talking, you can view the screen and see the various websites he's talking about.
Yes.
Secondly, I want to ask this.
Mm-hmm.
When you have an iPhone or you have an Android, can you just start using your Android to snap pictures, edit them, shoot videos, edit them, or you have to download some special apps, some special apps on your phone to actually use them? And if yes, can you mention but a few?
Yes, you do. It's not, well, technically, when you get your phone out of the box, you have a camera app in there, which is the beginning part. But most of these camera apps, depending on what kind of phone you're using, the camera apps aren't really in depth. So you will have to go to the Play Store, Google Store, and then download a third-party application. Off the top of my head, I can't name a few off the top of my head, but if you go on your App Store, Play Store, Google camera app, you'll be able to find some apps that are easily, that will give you more detail. Now, I will, of course, find that application. I will link it inside of the description or in the video somewhere for you guys to reference onto. Now, yes, once you go on the Play Store and download those applications, you can basically unlock your device. You can for a camera app, for instance, you're able to edit the ISO, which is basically the brightness. You can edit exposure. Like there's different kind of things you can edit by downloading it like an external app. Now, smartphones aren't. I mean, not just video editing. Like you can also. Did you know that you can also your iPhone, or not your iPhone specifically, but mainly Androids. On your Android phone, you can actually what we call root your phone, and then you can basically add and install like Windows or Linux. You can actually install Linux on your device, and you can use that to. There's a device called or operating system called Kali Linux. It's called a penetration testing operating system. When you can easily grab it on your phone, and then on an Android phone you can upload it on there, and then you can use it to test. That's what they use to actually like crack Wi-Fi passwords. They use it to test those kind of things. How strong is your Wi-Fi? Like they use those softwares to then you can all do it from your smartphone.
Oh, thank you. As you've heard from Mr. Patrick, you can use your iPhone to actually make a lot of money. You could shoot wedding videos, birthday parties, like a professional, edit it, take it to the owner and cash. You know. So, Mr. Patrick, thank you for that. I will go to our next question. You mentioned earlier that you self-taught an IT professional. Could you elaborate for the audience to understand, please?
Yeah, so when I mean by self-taught, like everything I know, like I have not learned it from school. Like everything I know is basically something that I've dedicated time. I'll go online and I'll watch YouTube videos, and something because I enjoy tech, like that's something that I've always grown up with, and it's not something that you have to really enjoy to make a living out of it. You can. On your free time, like even if you're not doing anything, like I know people have their smartphones. They'll just be on Instagram or be on Facebook, just scrolling their life away. Instead of doing that all day, like just dedicate your time to okay, I want to learn how a computer works. Let me Google it. What are the parts of a computer? And then you just quickly Google or if you don't want to read, just YouTube it, and then you'll find an article or a video that describes to you how a computer works, from the motherboard to the sound card, graphics card, all that. Like. All of these, like I can promise you right now, I wish I could show you, but there are some parts that I have here. They're called motherboard, and like I all those things I Googled, I went into, and I learned about them. And I even built my own computer, everything from the ground up with using my motherboard, processor, like all these things. Like I went online, I taught myself those things. So it's not very difficult. You don't need a certificate or a degree necessarily to really get into IT or to know more about IT.
Thank you. You've read it all. You don't need a degree or a certificate to learn IT. You could actually teach yourself whatever you want to know. There are resources online. You can use them. You know, they are all for you. Mr. Patrick, let's move to the next question, please. What are the skills and tools you need to learn information technology on your own?
Like I said, I mentioned this a few questions ago, but this Google and YouTube are one of the biggest tools you can ever have, because YouTube is ever growing. There's a whole lot. There's so much videos related to IT that you can't possibly process them all. So if you can't tell me that, like I don't have time or anything, but they're online. Let's say you're on your way to work. You can grab a YouTube video, download it to your phone, or you can have YouTube play in the background, put it in your headset and just like zone out to it. It's kind of like a podcast. And as you're walking around, going about your day, you listen to this, it kind of like it'll kind of refresh you essentially, or give you the know-hows on how to get into IT. I'll mention this real quick. The CEO of Microsoft, Bill Gates, as you all know, like he's at the pinnacle of IT. He owns Windows, basically. He's part of the team that developed Windows. And I'll mention this, like, did you know that Bill Gates did not graduate from college? Yeah. He's a college dropout. Yeah, so then look at him now. Like, he's everything he learned, it's self-taught. He taught himself. Like, he tried going to college, and it didn't work out for him. Going to college is not for everybody. Like, it's not something that everybody is meant to. Some people can go and do it, and that's by all means, if you're gonna do it, go ahead. Like, but you don't need a certificate or degree, like I said, to get into IT. Just learn on YouTube. There are some few tools that I will list down in the, somewhere in this video. The biggest tool to learn, if you want to learn programming, coding, Java, CSS, HTML, those kind of things. There's a site called w3schools.com. It's a free site. Anybody can go on there, and they will teach you from beginner to advanced. Like, you can start off like not knowing anything related to coding, but by the time you're done with all the modules, you'll be able to understand IT. And even then, let's just say you want to learn HTML, which is web design. You go on there, you click on module, and then you go through. Let's say you've gone through from beginning to end, you still don't understand. You can always go back again and then go through them again. And if you have any questions that you cannot that you need answers to, you quickly grab Google or YouTube, and I'm 100% sure you'll find an answer somewhere out there on the web.
Oh, thank you very much. You made mention of Bill Gates. That brings me to the next question. Africa at large, this is a mentality the African government needs to change. Africa at large so much depends on certificates. And they use this certificate to actually kill talent. There are a whole lot of African youth that has talent that could do a whole lot of things, but they relegate these people to the background using a criteria known as certificate. So that brings me to the next question, which is, do you think university degree or certificate is important in getting an IT job? Just the way African prioritize university degree. If not, please educate the African government and youth on self-education.
Yes, I mean, in some aspects, a degree, I would say maybe 80% of the time you don't necessarily need a degree. You need mainly experience, because somebody, let's say for instance, right, somebody, like I said, I work at IT and I don't have a college degree yet. So it's not something that's impossible to do. It's all about your knowledge in IT and your experience. I could, for instance, let's say I apply to a job, right? And there's somebody, I have let's say about 7 or 8 years of experience in IT. And somebody who just graduated from college who is now applying for that same job. They will look at my experience, my real world experience, and then they will compare it to the person who just graduated out of college. That person is just straight from books. For me, I've self-taught and I've gained some experience, and based on my knowledge, I will be the first person to consider because I have that hands-on experience and knowledge. So you can just educate yourself around IT, land like a basic job, like entry-level IT job, and then from there grow your skills from there. Like you don't necessarily need a degree. And out there, this is my education reform, to at least inform the African government that yes, degrees are sometimes you consider some of them important, but they're not necessarily something that you need. College education is on a rise. Like we're paying more and more and more for college degrees that end up soaking ourselves in debt versus learning what we need to learn. Self-taught education is one of the biggest things. Like it doesn't cost much. As long as you have internet, you can go access YouTube, or you can access W3 schools, or there's other sites online that will help you teach you IT. So I recommend to the African government that our youth, our kids growing up, so you start, let's say, from elementary all the way through SS or high school. Those are the places that you want to target the most with IT. There's, like I said, there's this biggest site that I highly recommend. It's called W3 Schools. Anybody can access the web. Like I would suggest that as a school, I would suggest that you add this to your curriculum under the information systems technology. It's a free site. Have a teacher. It wouldn't take that long to just have a teacher go through and then walk the students through, or have just students just go and then self-learn. Just giving out the resources. Well, some students will pique interest, and then they'll go online and they'll start going to that website and then go through from there. So we want to start from the foundation, from the, like I said, elementary school. Here in America, my little brothers, there's a 6-year-old, there's a 9-year-old, and then there's a 14-year-old. They both grew up in the school system here. And right now, the 9-year-old is learning programming in elementary school, which is about, I think, 4th or 5th grade. He's learning programming. So if we can get our elementary school students, which is primary students, you want to call it in Africa, to learn about coding, there are free kids coding camps that you can go online and book. Not even book per se, but they're free. You can go on there and then have the kids just go through. They make it fun and entertaining, like a game, basically. And as you're coding, you're doing that, you're able to educate your child, educate the children, and it's from there on. Once we cut the foundation, starting from the kids, when they grow up with that fundamentals, that base foundation of IT, that's when they can be they'll I don't know how to describe it, but that's when they will become more adept in using IT stuff. So I recommend that even if you're in high school or SS or JSS, you can still learn this IT stuff. There are resources you can go online, like I said, W3 Schools, the biggest one that you want to talk about. Have them go online and then learn through there. They'll be a very good education. You can also, once you learn those things, you can get certifications with them. You can go A+, CompTIA, there's Java, there's Microsoft, there's different kinds of certifications you can get with those to essentially land you a job.
Wow, that's a very powerful information. That brings me to the last question for today. Please, Mr. Patrick, can you lay down a footprint? Because this program is all about footprint. We want to develop a footprint for Africa. We want to tell Africa the way they do it all over the world. If you go to India, the Indian government, they know pretty well that they are good in IT, and they are developing their young kids, their children, they are catching them so young from the elementary school to actually study IT. If you go all over the world, Indian people will never do a manual job. All of them will come to US, will come to UK and start IT, and they are making it because their government laid the foundation. If you go to China, they play with technology right from school, and their government support them. They invest a whole lot of money into those sectors to actually grow them. If you come to America, the same thing, all over the world. But African leader knows all this. Please, we want our African leader to actually, do something about the youth system, because when I was growing up, they said we are the leaders of tomorrow. But up to this moment, I've not seen a youth that is a leader. Go to France, their president is so young. Go to other countries, you will see young presidents. So I want you to use this medium to actually lay down a footprint for the African governments, and youth, how the IT works and the various foundations to put on ground when it comes to IT in order for our youth to actually grow.
All right. So this message is targeted towards the African governments. Like, if you're somebody out there who's higher up in the chain and is listening, like, to really get things in perspective, like our education reform. I'm not gonna lie. I'm from Ghana, and yes, I know our education system is very lacking. Where we're supposed to be right now, we're not, and we're falling behind. And here's my proposal to at least to help the education system a little bit. IT is an ever growing field. It's not going to go out of business anytime soon. IT and mainly the IT and health sector, but right now focus on IT. Throughout this whole program, I've been talking about it. Like, there's numerous resources online for us to utilize to educate our kids, to utilize the youth on IT. It's a very sharp tool. The internet has become something that's so broad. There's thousands of websites, thousands of resources that we can utilize to educate our kids, the students. Like, there's no excuse for us, because although we are lacking, we're falling behind, that doesn't mean we can't catch up. Like, we can definitely catch up, and not even just catch up, we can lead, because I feel like there are diamonds in the rough. There's a lot of African children or African youth that are out there that they know how to use computers, but they don't know how to channel their skills. They don't know where to put their energy into, and we have to create a program. We have to create schools. We have to, under the foundation of our education, we have to have IT there, because IT is growing the future. If we're able to understand IT very well, in America, most of all the infrastructure here are laid down is through IT. The internet, like the internet, we have self-driving cars now. Everything is related to internet. So IT is always going to be there, and I highly recommend that we educate our youth in IT. It doesn't matter what field, because at the end of the day, once we get the base foundation for them, that's when we start seeing Africa will develop. I promise you, if we find a good program in place and give it to these kids to educate them, Africa will definitely be, like, where we're at right now. We're not at our full potential. We're letting all the other countries pass us. China, America, like, just because they're ahead doesn't mean we can't catch up. We're smart, we're brilliant, but there's a lot of people out there that we really need to channel their skill set into something. Once we channel their skill sets in there, businesses will boom. They can start businesses. We can go. We can basically create IT firms that we can now outsource. Different countries can, like, there's most of the American companies that outsource the IT. For instance, Microsoft, for instance, for their IT support, they outsource it to India. So we can create a program if we're able to train and educate our youth and our not just our youth, even adults that are athletes. We're able to train them and get them at least certified in either CompTIA or any of these university accepted certification. We can actively do because we can set up like centers where we can actually outsource those resources like IT support. Like I said, Microsoft, they offload all of their IT support to India, and India is benefiting from that. And that's something we can do back home. We can educate our kids, educate the youth, educate the adults, and then from there on, we can create more jobs. That's when Africa will start to boom. And once we do that, more companies from abroad will come and settle in Africa. They will as a headquarters, and with them, they're bringing their tools, their education. They're basically, it's a cascading effect. People come, when they're coming, they're bringing their culture, they're bringing their skills, they're basically coming to teach, and that's when Africa will start booming. America was built off of that, off of immigrants. We off of different cultures. China, Africa, we all come together, different minds. This is why America is the way it is, because we have different minds coming together and then coming up with different solutions, making innovative things. Like look at all these IT companies here. Who's not to say we can't start an IT company in Africa? We can. It's just we're not educated enough, and we have to educate. And we don't have to go to school for that specifically. Like I said, we can set up a training program that let's say Monday through Friday, after hours. If you're going to work Monday through Friday and after we're going to stop by the shop. You stop by the shop, you spend 2 or 3 hours, you learn how to use a computer or how to use Microsoft Word or Excel. All of these things, they're free online. You don't need to have somebody sitting there to teach you, and you can actually learn yourself. I'm not just talking to the African government, I'm also talking to the people who are listening too. Don't wait on the government to start educating yourself. As I say right now, on your phone, get on your phone, go on YouTube, just start Googling things about IT. And you'll definitely find something. If you're not sure where to start, you can always contact me. Like Frank has my contact information. We'll also display it there. If you want to start IT and then you want to know where to begin, just shoot me an email, give me a call, and I will basically I'll ask you a series of questions. And that series of questions will help me determine where you will fall in the IT field. I'm not saying my recommendations will be accurate, but if you explain to me what you like about IT or what do you like about doing with your phone, like for instance, I like taking pictures, I like recording videos, or I want to know how websites are designed. Those are the curiosities that I want to hear. Those are the kind of things I will be able to tell you, okay, this is where you may be able to fall in. So try this, and then if you enjoy it, then fine, you can stay in that field. But if you don't, you come back to me. I want to help the youth. Like I've been looking for a platform that I can actually speak out about this because we're lacking, and it doesn't need to be this way.
That's why our platform is there. That's why Footprint is there, and we really appreciate the open invitation. As you've heard it from Mr. Patrick, if you want to go into IT, any sector in the IT, you want to know how to shoot videos, you want to know how to edit films, you want to know how to design websites, he just gave us an open invitation to his word. We really appreciate that, and we're going to have more of this in this program. I tell you, you could actually shoot an email to Footprint, and we'll direct your email to Mr. Patrick, and I tell you, you are going to receive a reply. So you could shoot us an email on frank.ojeme@yahoo.or@gmail.com. That's frank.ojemen@gmail.com. We're going to respond and direct you to Mr. Patrick. From there, you could actually have his contact and talk one-on-one. Thank you so much.
One more thing before, I'm sorry to interrupt you. One more thing before you end. I would like to also say that through Frank, because like I said, I do IT, and then I'm adept in many fields. I web design, graphic design. I also build computers and that. So I'm very adept at IT. So if you have any questions, if you're a business and you need help developing a website or a business card or anything IT related, if you call me, I'll be able to or not call me, just shoot us an email. I'll be able to direct you. I'll be able to tell you if I can't do it myself. I'll be able to direct you to somebody who can, or a resource you can actually utilize in order to benefit your business. Because IT definitely benefits all business.
Yeah, thank you. That brings me to a particular discussion we had.
Yeah.
Mr. Patrick is actually trying to build a platform that is going to benefit Ghana government, and also it's going to benefit the whole Africa. And I tell you, these are youths that are readily available for African government to use. Mr. Patrick, I know you don't want to disclose any idea, but just a tip of an iceberg for Ghana government on your idea of how they can save a whole lot of dollars, a whole lot of money, for themselves in the project you are actually trying to build.
Yes. So it's a dream of mine. I didn't come, my parents didn't bring me to this country just to come here and stay here and then just be like that. I want to benefit my country, not just my country, but Africa in general. And it's my dream one day to actually establish a space program in Ghana or somewhere in Africa. And I would want Ghana to be the epicenter of that. I want all the African countries to come together and develop a rocket and develop a satellite that we can officially launch under the flag, the banner of Africa, and launch into space. It's all possible. Specifically in Ghana, right? In Ghana, the prime meridian runs through Ghana, and we're a little bit, maybe about 100 miles off the coast of the equator, which is almost at the center of the Earth. Now, Elon Musk, NASA, the ESA, which is the European Space Program, they all launch satellites using rockets. In order for you to launch satellite, the closer you are to the equator, the faster, or basically the more money you can save. Launching rockets or launching satellites into space. We're using the Earth's momentum, because the Earth is tilted and it's spinning on an axis. So when you launch a rocket out of space, you have to use a lot of fuel, a lot of force to get out of the atmosphere. So by using the Earth's momentum, the Earth's spin, we're able to launch a rocket with using less fuel to get everything, your payload, which is satellites, into space. You can either save more on fuel, or you can basically add more load to your rocket. So Africa, or Ghana specifically, is at the dead center, where if not dead, we're close to that point where if we're able to establish a space program, we'll be able to definitely launch satellites and then save thousands of dollars and millions, not just thousands, millions of dollars. Launching a rocket costs hundreds of millions of dollars. If you can save about $20 to $30 million on fuel cost, I don't see why we can't start that program. It's definitely something that I really want to. I don't want to get too much detail, but I really want to establish a program.
Thank you for throwing light on it. African government, Ghana to be precise. You've heard it from the horse's mouth. You've heard how he can save money for you, and this is your own person. He's so knowledgeable. He works with United States government. This is an asset you can use. You can actually contact us, or you could look him up on internet. His name is online, Patrick Ekuban, right?
Yes.
So you could look him up, you get him. But if you want to get him through us, you could shoot us an email through Footprint. You could shoot me an email on frank.ojene@gmail.com, and we're going to get you his contact. Thank you so much. We appreciate you for coming today. And African youth, you've all heard it. You can make money with your phone. You can be a professional anything, a professional web designer, a professional YouTuber. You can be a professional IT, anything you want to be without going to school. You've heard it all, and we're going to bring you another episode. You've heard what he said about outsourcing. This is what Indian, Chinese, Japanese, and every other developing countries then that are developed now use to actually bring themselves up. We're going to bring you an episode on outsourcing later on. So we appreciate you, Mr. Patrick. In order not to waste your time, thank you very much. We say, I hope when we invite you again, you will honor our invitation.
I sure will, when I have the time, of course.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
All right.
Yeah, good night. So this brings us to an end of Footprint today. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe, watch our video, like it, share it. That is the only way we could actually take this message to all the youth all over the world, Africa to be precise. Thank you very much. God bless you. See you in another episode. Thank you.
All right.
Cheers.